Rock and Roll Geek Show 684.
Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA. Online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Friday, February 19th, 2016, when I'm recording this show. I just got off the phone with the great Frank Dimino from one of the great bands of the 70s called Angel. Frank Dimino, one of the nicest guys you will ever meet, and one of the most underrated singers you will ever hear. Trust me on that. If you're listening to this show, I'm pretty sure you already have heard Angel. If you haven't, you need to go out and check out Angel. Frank Dimino's got a new album called, it's been out for probably about 6 months now. It's called Old Habits Die Hard. It's on Frontiers Records. It's a quality album. I was not expecting to like it, but Frank's manager called me up and said, asked me if I would be interested in interviewing Frank Dimino. And I said, are you kidding me? I'm a huge Angel fan, so I would love to. And he asked me if I would be interested in, helping promote the record. And I said, why don't we do a track by track? Because you know how I love to do track by tracks. So Frank comes on. We talk a lot of Angel, and then we get into a track by track of the latest album called Old Habits Die Hard. There's hints of Angel music throughout this album. It's a quality album. Like I said, I was quite surprised that I was going to like this album as much as I did, but I like it. So there you go. Without further ado, I'm going to get right into I'm going to shut up now and let Frank Dimino do most of the talking, which I will try not to interrupt him, but as you know, I always do, but I will do my best. So thank you so much for listening, friends, and thank you very much for the donations, because without your donations keep this show alive, and without your donations, this show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled, disgusting death, and you'll never hear the show again. All right, I'm shutting up now. We get right into the Frank Dimino interview. Again, the album is called is Dimino, Old Habits Die Hard. Go out there and find it, my friends, because it's a good album. You can find it. I'll post links on the show notes to where you can find Frank. We can find this album and his website and all that stuff. All right, here's Frank Dimino. I'm shutting up. We'll talk to you next time, friends. Frank Dimino from Angel, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. This show's called the Rock and Roll Geek Show, by the way.
Okay. And do I call you Michael?
You can call me whatever you want. Most people call me son of a bitch.
What do I call you?
You can call me Michael. That's fine. I played with you there was a reformed Angel, and you guys played Fremont, California at this country and western bar.
Oh, that was the show with Stars?
Yeah, with Stars and somebody else.
Yeah.
We were the Butlers. We were a cover band, and we had a great time because everybody in the Butlers were huge Angel geeks. And,
oh, cool!
And you and Barry Brandt were backstage, and we were just geeking out on you guys. We were like showering you with praise.
Yeah, well, that was fun because it's weird. I haven't talked to Richie in a while, but I was always talking to him all the time, and we were trying to put something together, and finally that show happened. And I don't know, I can't remember who put that show together, who the guy was, but I didn't think it was going to happen, but it did. It did happen, so it was fun doing that.
It was a strange show, and it was a huge country western bar, and there was a mechanical bull in the back of the bar. But it was a fun show because we were just so. Well, we were a huge Angel and Stars fan. As a matter of fact, when I was in 12th grade, there were two songs there are actually two albums, but I can narrow them down to two songs that defined my life in the 12th grade. One was It's a Riot from Stars, from Coliseum Rock, and the other was Wild and Hot from Sinful. And I haven't heard Wild and Hot in probably a couple of years, but I remember every lyric from Wild and Hot. and It's a Riot from Stars. So,
that's funny.
So,
that's funny.
So thank you for that. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. So, now, where do you live right now?
Vegas.
Vegas. That's what I thought. You still doing vocal lessons?
Yes. Yeah. Still doing vocal lessons. I still just did a show with Vinyl Tattoo a couple of weeks ago at Vamped. Vinyl Tattoo is like a local band that I have out here with Oz Fox.
Yeah.
And Scotty Coogan on drums, and J.P. Michaels on bass. And sometimes I have Jeff Duncan sits in with us, and Jeff Duncan from Armored Saint, he fills in for Oz when Oz is doing his Striper thing, and sometimes Michael T. Ross still sits in with us when he does the Rock Vault.
Okay.
But when we do Vamp, sometimes after he's done with the Rock Vault, because they get done early, he'll run over to Vamp and come play with us. So it's fun. It's a fun gig.
Do you ever talk to Barry Brandt anymore?
I just talked to him a couple of days ago.
Did you happen to talk about the Angel reunion that's happening this year?
You mean the thing with Vegas Rocks magazine?
No. Oh, I didn't know that. No, I was just actually joking, trying to get it out of you. But
well, I don't. The reason why I haven't said anything is because I don't know if everything is set for it. I really don't. I mean, there's just been talk about it, so I'm not quite sure yet. So I don't want to say anything unless it's really happening. So
Oh, well, there you
go.
go.
But that's just an award thing.
So you're just going to get up and play like one Angel tune or a couple Angel tunes?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be playing, but we'll all be together, which is a beginning.
Yeah.
What's
everybody asks about an Angel. When's the Angel going to reunite with all the original members, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I really don't have an answer to that. I wish I did. I mean, look. Punky and Felix played on in the beginning with Barry and I. My solo album,
Punky
played on a tune, right. And tomorrow I'm going to the studio to do a song on Punky's solo album that he sent me to do. So I mean, we're in touch with each other, and like I said before, we'll probably if one's doing a project, I'm sure, We'll help each other. We'll lend our whatever each one of us needs for stuff. And I just talked to Greg last week. And we keep saying, let's get together. He has some stuff that he wants to finish up, some songs. And but he's so busy. He's really busy with his stuff. So.
Right.
It's hard to get him nailed down to doing. He was going to play on my solo album as well, but he just didn't. He couldn't fit it into his schedule. So he's really a busy guy.
Well, I know Felix played on Punky's new record that's coming out,
and I think Felix is going to go. If they do some dates, I think Felix might go out with them as well.
Have you heard the record?
No, I haven't. Just the song that he sent me is the only thing I've heard.
Okay. What does it sound like? What does the style sound like?
Sounds kind of like, it's hard. It's hard to say. If you ask me what my album sounds like, I don't know.
Well, I will tell you what yours.
I don't know how to
like.
classify anything anymore. No matter how you classify it, it doesn't really give people an idea of what it is because everyone has different ideas of. When I say a heavy kind of. Well, maybe a little bit kind of like in the sinful kind of thing, maybe Punky, the song that Punky sent me anyway.
Oh, good. That's my favorite Angel album, Sinful.
Right. Yeah.
Well, good. That's probably, Sinful is probably most people's least favorite Angel album.
Yeah.
I guess all the geeks, but I like that one because that one has the most pop sensibility of all the albums. Pretty much top to bottom, it's a good pop album. And that's what that was all the Angel songs that I liked were the ones that were pop songs anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's odd that there's two factions of Angel fans. Ones that like the first two albums, and one that like White Hot and Sinful.
Well, I like all the Angel albums, as most people do probably, but I like the pop songs the best. That Sinful album was you guys were gonna change the entire image of the band to just being like in street clothes, right? And it was going to be called a different title.
Yeah, we weren't going to change the image of the band. It's just the album cover itself was in we were in street clothes. It was originally called Bad Publicity.
Yeah.
And it was us in we were at the Riot House, the Hyatt House on Sunset. We were in one of the hotel rooms there, and it was like us in street clothes, and I think it was a policeman breaking in, and there was like a card game, and Barry and I sitting at a table. I had a girl sitting on my. It was like it was a crazy shot, but the big thing is it was called Bad Publicity because it was plastered with all bad reviews of Angel.
Right, yeah.
So that was like it was a thought that we had that we didn't want anyone to think that we took ourselves too serious and so that's why it was just an attempt to kind of break down a few barriers, but Neil didn't want us to do that. So once he saw the album cover, he asked us to redo it and go back to wearing costumes on the front of it. So.
Did Angel get dropped by Casablanca?
No.
You didn't. So the band just kind of like, what happened? Why did the
what
album
happened
stop?
was Neil ended up selling Casablanca to Polygram, and he started Boardwalk Records.
Mm-hmm.
And from the end of Sinful, we were working on the next album, which Jack Douglas was going to produce at the time.
Huh. Were there recordings of it? Did you record?
What's that?
Did you guys record anything?
Well, we did. We didn't do anything with Jack. I had already had Jack. I had already talked to Jack about doing it. Jack said yes, and at that time we were all writing, and I think we had like 4 or 5 songs that were already done. Not done. They were in demo form. Because what we did was at that time we were using when we were on the road. We had found a few studios while we were on the road and laid down some stuff that we worked on, and then when we got back to L.A., we went into the record plant and laid down some stuff. In fact, David Page ended up working with us on a couple of tunes and stuff, just the arrangement and putting things together. But what happened was Polygram didn't want to pay Jack the money and wanted us to pay for the production, and that's not the way the contract was written. So we went back and forth, and then they wanted us to pay the points to Jack, and we said no, the points are supposed to be split. We pay one, you pay one. It goes back. So we went into this whole. It was a whole madness that kind of like it dragged into this whole trying to renegotiate a deal that was already done. And then what happened was Jack didn't have the time to wait anymore. He said, I can't do this anymore. I have other obligations I got to do. So he just moved on, and we never ended up getting the record together. It was one thing after another with Polygram. So
you think Polygram?
Then we asked them to release us so we could go to Boardwalk, and they wouldn't do that either. So it was kind of a mess.
It sounds like they were kind of screwing with you business-wise to maybe want you to just not do another album.
Yeah, I don't know what the motivation was. You know what I mean? Other than to want us to go in and do an album for half the amount that the contract required. So I don't know. I don't know why they would do that, but that's what happened.
When all that stuff starts happening, does it disillusion some members of the band and makes them just want to just say, screw it, I just want to stop?
Yeah, it's very frustrating because you feel like everything's passing by, everything's moving forward, and you're just staying in one place. So it was very, very frustrating.
Did those demos ever come out on anything?
No.
Do you have them?
No, I don't even know where they are. I mean, I know that they were at the record plant for a while, but I don't know. I don't know what happened to them.
You guys didn't keep anything, did you? There's no video from you guys playing back then, or no quality video.
Well, back then, remember back then there really wasn't. There was obviously there were no phones with video, so that's out. And the video back then were like those huge VHS cameras. Remember that you kind of had to carry in, so no one could take those into any of the shows. And they were like, there was a reason for it back then, because people felt like if you took a video of the show, then people wouldn't come to see a live show. I mean, which was kind of crazy, but that's the way it was back then. And when we played big places like the Superdome and stuff like that, when you project it onto the screen, there's no film in the cameras.
Right.
They're just projections. You know what I mean? It's just from camera to screen. So that's why there was ever any video of any of the things that we did.
Everybody is always looking for footage from back then, because the legend of Angel's stage show was like, now it's mythical, the legend of the Angel's stage show.
Well, it was mythical when we were doing it, believe me. It was crazy. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty big and pretty crazy.
Yeah. Did you guys make any money?
We made money, yeah, but not nearly as much as we would have liked to have. That's for sure. A lot of it went into the show and the production and all that stuff too. But hoping for bigger and better things.
Yeah. Has there been offers, like any good money offers for all the guys to get back and do shows?
I talked to Punky about that one time. I said, listen. I'm just wondering, I'm just thinking, a lot of people have been asking me as I'm going, and as Barry and I did those shows, if we were ever going to put the whole band, the whole thing back together. And I said, if that's something you would entertain, I'm not saying you want to do it, but you want me to ask, is there a number that we can start at? And really, between the two of us, we really couldn't come up with a number. So, no numbers have been floated around, and I'm sure there is a number for everyone to say, yeah, we'll do it for that. But I don't know what that number is, because we've never really talked about it. So until someone really kind of says, hey, we want you to do this show, and we're offering you this, I don't have an answer for you.
So there's been no formal offers for a full-fledged Angel reunion?
No.
Okay. No. Yeah. It's funny because you have an album, a new album out that I think sounds a lot like. I mean, maybe it's because your vocals, but it sounds a lot like Angel through a lot of the songs. And then Punky's got a new album. I was just thinking, why don't the guys just do it out and just be Angel? But I don't know. What do I know?
Well, the thing is that it's really hard. It's not as easy as everyone's wants to believe. It's just the thing is that we're all in different parts of the country right now.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the pressure of putting that together means that we really have to get together, write together, and rehearse together. So that takes a big chunk of time out of everyone's life, and we're not like 22 anymore. You know what I mean? We all have our family. We all have lives that we're living, and we have to maintain that, and we have to do things to maintain that. It's the same thing now as when someone says to me, well, are you going to put some dates together? Yeah, I'd love to put some dates together. First, I have to have someone who wants me to play, someone who wants me to do those dates, someone who wants me to, do a tour, and then I have to go to people and say, listen, I have a tour, are you available? You know what I mean? Because it's not like it used to be where you just put a band together, rehearse, and go out. Everyone's doing something. Everyone has to keep their hands in the pot to keep their lives moving forward. So it's just not as easy as it used to be,
Yeah. Are you surprised that there's still a big Angel fan base?
Well, I think Facebook had a lot to do with that too, getting it back and keeping it kind of alive.
I think Facebook just brought them all together. They're always out there.
Yeah, and when you have like especially on Facebook, when you have a few people that are able to relate to each other on one thing, it kind of gets like it kind of like gets like a frenzy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
people go, yeah, and then someone else, oh yeah, I remember those guys, you know. So
do you go on there?
I think that kind of helped it.
You go on there and read the comments a lot? Because I would.
I haven't. I used to at first. Now I kind of I changed my my Facebook thing to a musician page. It was just too difficult. I couldn't. There were a lot of people that wanted they were sending friend requests and stuff, and you can't. You can only have a certain amount of friends, I guess. You know, I didn't realize that. So I had to change it around, and after I changed it around to just a musician page, I kind of fell off a little bit. So, but I do go on and read some things if I can, as much as I can, you know.
Yeah. What's your favorite Angel album?
God, it's very difficult. I really, it's really difficult for me to say. I mean, there's some tracks that are I'm closer to than others, but I don't know. I mean, I like the albums for different reasons, obviously, because I was in the middle of it. So, the first album was great because we did it. We put all that stuff together at Bogies when we were at Bogies, writing all that stuff, and the fun part about that album was the fact that we were getting to know each other musically. So that was really exciting, you know, and then to when we went from DC to Los Angeles to get the record deal, to put the record deal together, it was rehearsal every single day. We rehearsed every single day. The band was really very, very tight. So we kind of learned from each other, each other's musical strengths, and kind of worked on that stuff. So the first album was very quickly. It was done very quickly. We knew all that material back and forth. And then by the second album was the tour de force was The Fortune, obviously, and unfortunately, I think a lot of those other songs kind of suffered because of that, you know. And I say that because we spent a lot of time on The Fortune we wanted to really get it right. And what happened was we were running out of time for the other songs, you know.
Right.
Not that we didn't do what we wanted to do, but we could have worked and developed them a little bit more than we did. But the focus was really on The Fortune. And by the time we got to the third album, it was experimental time. You know, we had Eddie Kramer, and we had a big castle. You know, so we were experimenting with the sounds in different rooms. So that was a great learning process, and it was a recording wise and trying to figure out, you know, what kind of sound we wanted for a song and stuff like that. You know, it was a lot of fun. It was great fun, and by the time we got to the fourth album, we really kind of knew what we wanted to do as far as recording wise, a little bit more knowledgeable. And I think that we started to break off, whereas definitely the first two albums were a lot of Punky, Greg, and myself writing together. And, of course, the other guys contributing here and there, but mainly the three of us wrote all the stuff together. And by the time we got to the fourth album, we started to branch off and started to write more stuff on our own. And I started to write more with Barry and Punky and I, and then Greg and Punky, and Greg and myself. So it was, it started to get a little bit more. The songs started to be crafted a little bit more like songs instead of epic.
Right.
Epic things for the band. You know?
A little less prog or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Mickey Jones was not on White Hot. Right. I heard that he was only on like half of On Earth as It Is in Heaven. Is that true? Do you remember?
No, he was on the whole.
He was on the whole album. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, there you go. The Legend of Angel, the original hair metal band, actually, too. Right?
Yeah. It's funny when I think about that. You know, it was like Sinful was kind of like a prelude to all the '80s bands.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
You know, it was like, if MTV had been around at that time, I think it would have been a whole different deal, you know.
I would imagine that you guys got a lot of girls back then.
Yeah, back then it was pretty crazy. We had a lot of fun.
Did you ever get married?
Yeah, I'm married now.
Oh, you same woman the whole time?
Yeah.
When did you marry her?
Yeah.
During Angel or after?
I have 2 boys.
During Angel or after?
No, after.
Okay.
I waited till after I was done with all that stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so the new album is just called Dimino. It's called Old Habits Die Hard.
Right.
There's different. I have liner notes for the Japanese release, and the sequence is different from the U.S. and the Japanese release. Is that true?
I'm not sure, you know, because I don't have the Japanese CD yet. I haven't gotten one yet.
Look, I don't have the CD, but I have the liner notes to the Japanese release.
I know that we did. What we did was we did an acoustic version of Even Now for the Japanese release. Yeah, so it was kind of fun to do, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's the ballad.
Yes.
Okay, so now who was on the album? First of all, Oz Fox from Stryper.
Right. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
When we started the album, before we started the album, when I sat down with Paul Crook, who produced the album, and I said, what I'd like to do...
Now, does Paul live in Vegas, too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Paul, Paul had started off with me with the album, you know, and what happened was he got called to do some Meatloaf stuff, because he's the musical director for Meatloaf.
Okay.
So what happened was I was like, I had this album I had to do, and Paul wasn't available. So I talked to Pat Thrall. So Pat Thrall was going to step in.
Pat Thrall from the Pat Travers Band, originally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pat's a good friend. You know, Pat, Paul, Kenshi, and Chimino, it's like a circle of friends. We're all good friends. So Pat was going to step in and take over. So we went through the whole thing of what we were going to do and all that stuff. And then what happened was Pat got called to do some stuff. And as he got called to do some stuff, Paul was finished doing the Meatloaf stuff. So it went back to Paul. So, which is great. But, and what happened was, you know, Pat said, listen, I'm sorry I couldn't do it, he said, but I still would love to play on it. So if you have any tracks you want me to do, just let me know. Please let me know, and let me play on a couple of tunes. So of course. So that's how Pat got involved with playing on the album. But initially, what I was saying is that I had said to Paul that to do the rhythm tracks, I would like to have the same bass player, drummer, and keyboard player, so that it doesn't sound like, here's these guys for this song, then these guys for that song. You know, I wanted to have some consistency.
Right, so cohesive, so it sounds somewhat like a band. Exactly.
That was the most important part. I wanted it to, and you know, when you put a record on, you want it to have the same flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, when you put on Sgt. Pepper, it's Sgt. Pepper. It's those guys doing that. You know, so it has that same kind of continuity to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Paul suggested the guys from Meatloaf, and I know the guys. I've jammed with them before. You know, we've done open mics together and screwed around. Yeah. So I was very comfortable with them.
So all those guys live in Vegas?
No, they live in New York. Justin Avery, the keyboard player, lives in Los Angeles, and Danny Miranda and John live in New Jersey, in New York.
Oh, okay. Paul Crook lives over there too.
But Paul Crook lives out here in Vegas.
Okay.
So yeah, Paul and I were together in the studio all the time. It was a crazy time. But anyway, so that's how I said that's a perfect scenario. That's what I want to do. So that's what happened with that. And then when it came to guitars, I thought, well, I'm all set because I got Paul, I got Oz, and my friend Jeff Lebansky that I wrote some tunes with as well. So I'm covered with guitars. And I didn't think of having special guests on the album. That wasn't the thought process. That just kind of happened organically. It was very, very strange, you know. It was a weird thing, but it was a nice thing how it happened. But you know, it wasn't thought out until it started to happen, you know.
The songwriting, who wrote all the... I'm assuming you wrote the vocals and the melody, or the lyrics and the melodies.
I did all the lyrics and all the melodies to all the songs, yeah.
What about the music? Oz?
The music? Oz and I worked on the music. Oz had his ideas. He sent them to me, and then we got together and kind of arranged the stuff. And the same thing with Jeff Lubansky. Jeff came out here to my place. I have a music room where I teach. So I have a little setup in here. I have my piano and you know, small amplifiers, and I have a little recorder that I use. So what we did was, we went through some ideas, put some ideas together, then kind of arranged it, and then we went to Oz has an old Pro Tools setup, and what we did was we laid down the demos over at Oz's place for all the songs. So we structured everything. Then I took those, and from the ideas that I had while we were working together with melody, I reshaped the melodies and started writing all the lyrics to all the stuff. So,
when you guys were writing, did you go back and listen to any Angel albums?
No.
Okay.
No, because I was very aware of the fact that I didn't want this to be, and I didn't want people to expect it to be an Angel album, because I don't have the other four guys with me, and if I don't have the other four guys, it's not going to be an Angel album. So what I did was, I even when Oz and Jeff said, what direction are we going to go in? How do you want to? I said, let's just write. I don't have to worry about writing for a band or writing for a particular genre. I said, let's just write good songs. So that's what we did. What we did was we attacked each song and tried to shape it and make it a really good, strong song. So, there was with Never Again. Oz had said to me, he said, when we had recorded it, he said, I was thinking of like an Angel tune. When we started working on those chords and stuff, in the back of my head, I was thinking of an Angel tune, trying to kind of make it kind of an Angel kind of sounding song. He said, wouldn't it be great if we had Punky? And this is how the whole guest thing started. So I said, yeah, I don't see why Punky wouldn't play on it if I asked him to play on it. He said, well, let's ask him. So that's how it started. I called Punky and asked him if he'd like to play on one of the songs on the album. He said, of course. So I sent him that one, and he sent me back the solo. And from that point on, it was like with Eddie Ojeda. He was at that time at the NAMM convention, and he had called Paul and said, "Listen, I'm coming to Vegas. Anything happening? What's going on?" And Paul said, "Yeah, I'm working on Frank's solo album." And he said, "Oh wow." He said, "Can I hear any of it?" So Paul said, "Yeah, sure." So he came down, and I said to him, I said, "You want to play on a song?" He said, "I'd love to." So I ended up giving him Tonight's the Night. And of course, Pat was already in a play. Pat Thrall was already going to play on the tune. So I had that one, Stones by the River, already worked out for him. And with Tears of Fall, what I was looking for was a slide guitar. And when we were talking, Paul and I were talking to each other about it at the studio. Ken was there, and Ken's really good friends, close friends with Ricky Medlock. And Ricky had played, opened up for some shows for Angel when he was with Blackfoot. We'd done some shows together.
Right.
So I knew Ricky. So he said, "Why don't we get Ricky to play on it?" I said, "That would be perfect. Great slide player." So we sent it to Rick, and he said, "I'd love to do it." So he played on it. So so all that kind of stuff just kind of happened. It's very strange, but that's the way it happened.
Yeah. Does Ricky live in Jacksonville, Florida, still?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what
he was doing. He was in the middle of doing
Skinner.
The Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff, and I think he's doing some. I think he's doing the Blackfoot thing again.
Yeah, have you heard? He's like franchised the name Blackfoot, and he's got hired guys, a whole new band, and all he's doing is like a musical director. It's crazy.
It's nice.
It's crazy. Yeah, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. That's where I was when I had Wild and Hot being the soundtrack of my life. Yeah. All right. So like you said, the first song is called "Never Again," and Punky's on lead guitar. Let's listen to a little bit of "Never Again." Okay. Anything else to say about this song?
What's that?
Anything else to comment about this song, "Never Again"?
Let me see. Any comments about "Never Again"? No, let's just listen to it.
Okay, here we go. "Never Again." Let's see if I can get this going here. Just a second. Okay. "Never Again." I got a spinning beach ball on the computer. Just hold on a second. I got ancient computer.
That's okay.
All right. Here's "Never Again." I will back it up here. Back it up. All right. "Never Again." There, you're "Never Again." You know that keyboard, the organ, is total John Lord.
Yeah.
Throughout the album, on the cover of the album, it's got you standing against a cinder block wall, glass of red wine on the ground, which I'm guessing is photoshopped onto the ground.
Yeah.
The mic stand and the platform shoes. Are those shoes the original 70s?
Yes, they are. Those are the Angel those are the Angel boots.
Did you wear those boots when you did the reunion? You know, the reformed Angel with different guys in the band. Same boots.
Yeah, I wore them the last couple of tours of Angel, and I wore them on the reformed Angel. Yeah.
Okay, so those would have been the ones on the Sinful tour.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything? What's the meaning? Is there any kind of meaning?
And that was my mic stand from. That mic stand's been with me since the very first tour.
You had that microphone when we played with you guys. Also, when we played with you, you had some kind of pedal on the floor that your vocals were going through, and it was like.
Yeah.
What is that pedal?
Well, you know what happened was, we used to have, when we go on tour, you have a sound man, so you're used to having your guy there with you and getting what you want from him. So what happened was there were so many different soundmen that I was going through when you don't tour with the band, after touring with Angel. Things got different, so you have a different sound guy in each place that you go into. So it was just taking me crazy amount of time to work on stuff, and some guys didn't want to do it, some guys just didn't get it. So I thought, you know what, let me just take control of this myself. So what I did was I got some pedals together, some processing stuff, which is I've upgraded as I've gone along. Now I'm up to I'm getting back to like now crazy stuff. I got like a MIDI pedal going with a rack on the side, so it's even a little bit more sophisticated than the pedals, but the pedals are the easiest thing for me to carry around. But they have different delays. One's a shorter delay, one's a longer delay, and I also have a pedal that has a double, which is kind of thickens the voice at certain times.
So you just change it on different songs.
Yeah.
All right, and there's also a picture in the album. You're inside I guess you're inside the console booth or whatever, and there's a guitar rack or a guitar boat. There's a couple of BC Riches on top. There's
yeah. That's inside the studio. Yeah. Those are all Paul's. That's all Paul's gear.
He's got a 10 BC bitch and a Mockingbird, and there's two scantily clad girls on top of the. Is that Paul's studio?
Yeah.
Is that Paul's studio?
Yeah, well, that was the studio that we were using at the time. Yeah, that was at the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp that was out here in Vegas that we were using. Yeah.
What did the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp studio think about two scantily clad girls standing on it?
I'm sure there's been a lot of scantily clad girls around. Wherever there's rock and roll, there's always scantily clad girls.
Well, the only
around.
thing is they're standing on the console. That's the thing.
Yeah, well.
And there's a I believe that's Hell of a Band vinyl on the floor.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. I think there's some. Yeah, there are some albums and stuff scattered on the floor.
And there's a video screen.
Right.
There's a video screen with you in the Angel days on the screen too. And there's some checkered boots, and the iconic microphone and the original.
Yeah,
Angel
originally that was going to be the front cover.
Okay.
But we changed it around because I thought after looking at it there was just a little bit too much going on for a small, I think in terms of an album cover I forget, even though we did CDs with Angel, I still think in terms of album covers. So
right.
There was just a lot going on there for when you shrink it down to a CD. So that's why I think we changed it to have something a lot more simpler, so that people could see it and know what was going on.
Yeah. Did this album come out on vinyl?
I don't know if it did. Not that I know of yet. Anyway, so I would love it. I would love it to come out on vinyl.
So Frontiers approached you about doing a record, or did you?
Here's what happened. Ken's a good close friend of mine, and Ken Ciancimino, and Ken kept saying, well, "Why don't you do a solo album?" And I kept saying to him, Ken, I've never really thought about doing a solo album. I've always been involved with bands, from Angel to before Angel to after Angel. It's always been a band. I have Vinyl Tattoo. It's a band. With Barry and I, we put together a band. So I'm always thinking in terms of a band. So he said, yeah, but you must have some material, or you must have some stuff that you want to do other than like with a band. And I started thinking about it, and then another night we had gone out and talked about it, and I said, you know what, that might be a good idea. Maybe I will do it. I'll challenge myself, do it. So he said, okay, if you want to do it, he said, let me talk to Serafino from Frontiers. I said, yeah, all right, that'd be great. So Ken talked to Serafino. Serafino asked me, got in touch with me, and he said, listen, what's the stuff that you want to do? What kind of stuff you want to do? So the first thing I sent him was Even Now. It was the track that Barry and I had written.
The ballad.
And, yes, and we had recorded it. We had a demo version of it. So I sent him that track, and he said, sounds great, let's do it. So I said, okay. And that's how we went about putting the album together. And from that point on, I thought, you know what, that's what I said, for this album, let's write all new material. So that's the only song that was written before the album was done.
So did that guy work for Frontiers, or just your friend?
Who, Ken?
Yeah.
No, Ken is just a friend.
Okay, so how did Frontiers get involved? Did you just
Ken knows Serafino and Mario. He knows those guys, Ken's really good friends with David Coverdale. Glenn Hughes is his son's godfather. Ken is a knows a lot of people. So Ken is one of those guys that he says, well, if you want to do it, let me give so and so a call. So that's kind of how that all kind of happened.
Yeah, a label like Frontier is quite different than back in the '70s with labels, right?
Yeah. I think every label is that these days. I mean, it's nice that Frontiers is one of the only labels, though, that at least is doing something with all the classic bands. I mean, they got Whitesnake, they got Journey. There's no one out there that
That's good. They're keeping the classic
rock alive. Seems to want to do that stuff,
Yeah. Well, Roadrunner was doing it for a while, I think. But,
yeah.
All right, so the next song is called Rockin' in the City.
Yeah.
You made a video for this song. I remember that before the album even came out, you did a promo video for this song.
Right.
Anything to say about this song before we listen to it?
The song, it was the obvious one for the video. It's just it's really a powerful song. The chord structure and the vocal. And it just kind of it screamed to have a video made of it. So I mean, I thought that would be one of the songs that was easily accessible, listening wise and radio wise. So that's why I chose that for the video.
All right, let's listen to a little bit of "Rockin' in the City." Here we go. A little bit of a cross between, if I had to compare it, a cross between maybe Deep Purple and maybe Accept.
Oh, yeah, that's a good analogy. Sure, I'll go along with that.
Do you have a favorite song on this album? I guess the reason I'm asking is why pick this one as the first single?
Well, like I said, I think it's a very accessible song, easy to listen to. It's powerful, not too complicated. One of my favorite songs on the album is "I Can't Stop Loving You," but I think it's a great song, but I think it's a little bit complicated for people to listen to for the first song off the album. And I just thought that "Rockin' in the City" was just a little bit easier on the ears.
Yeah, speaking of "Can't Stop Loving You," that's a third song, and the vocals on it are great. Do you think that you don't get the credit that you deserve as a great singer? I think you're way, way underrated as a singer, don't you? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but I do. Of course, I do take pride in working on those vocals and getting them right. So yeah, I mean, I work hard at it. So sure, I would. It's always nice to get credit to do for what you do. I don't know whether I get too much or too little. I really don't know.
Do you ever have vocal problems? Where you lose your voice?
Everyone does. Sure. When you're doing like 6 nights a week, back in the day, when we were doing headlining tours, we were doing 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, and when you're doing those 5 and 6 nights a week, sure that wears on you, and you gotta be able. The beginning of those tours, was a learning process, and of course, being trained vocally, you know, I was a little bit ahead of the curve, but still, you're not learning until you're out there doing it. So I had to learn where to kind of pull back and where to push, you know, because if you just push too hard the whole 90 minutes or the 2 hours, by the end of that fifth and sixth day, it's not going to be pretty, you know. So you really got to kind of like pace yourself through the whole thing.
Yeah, when you're given lessons to somebody who's taking vocal lessons, and they say that they're losing their voice, what is like a what advice do you give them when they say that they're like, I don't know, if they're feeling hoarse or whatever, to keep the voice strong through a show?
Yeah, it really is pacing is what it's all about, you know, because when you lose your voice, it's the one thing that there's no remedy for that, you know what I mean? You know, you drink hot tea, you know, you kind of try and soothe it as much as possible, but there's not a remedy for it, and there's things you can take that help it, but here's the problem. The problem is that if you do that, what you're doing is you're doing harm to your vocal cords, because you're not feeling what's going on, so you're running roughshod over something that has to heal, and it's not healing properly. You're grading on it even more and more. So you got to kind of let it heal a little bit, you know. You can't really, you can mask it up to a certain point, but you don't want to really run it into the ground. It's an organ, you know, and it's something you really got to take care of.
What do you do if you have to do a show though, and you
do the show? You know, there's nothing you can do. You kind of try and pace yourself around it. Like I said, you have your tea, your warm tea, and you try to soothe it as much as possible, and you try and work your way through it. You know, after doing it a while, you know, you try, you know some things that work and some things that don't. There's certain notes that you kind of try and eliminate, and you try and go under them and stuff. But you know, you work with it as best you can. Right. It's different. It's different from a guitar player who doesn't have to worry about that stuff, and it's also the same thing when a singer gets sick. You know, when you're singing and you get sick, you have a cold, you know, you got a problem. A guitar player can play through that. A singer can't. They gotta, you know, you can't take antihistamines. You can't dry yourself all up. You can't do that because what happens is your throat becomes very dry and you can't manipulate it as well. So you have to be careful of that stuff as well.
Funny you say that. I have a really bad cold, and I'm the band that we played with you guys. We're playing tomorrow, and I do a lot of the singing, and I have a cold, and I'm losing my voice. So, what do I do?
Drink. Yeah, hey, you know, throat coat is very good. I have to recommend throat coat.
What's throat coat? Is that a gay? That's not.
It's a tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the album. Sorry to get sidetracked here.
So
I was talking about because you're a criminally underrated singer, and the vocals are great on this song. Next song, I Can't Stop Loving You. So
thank you.
All right, let's listen to a little bit of this song. I Can't Stop Loving You. No guest guitar players or anything on this one. This is just the core band.
Yes, this is the core band.
Okay. Can't Stop Loving You. Yeah, vocals are way up there. No problem singing this one?
No, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Look at you, and I lose all my self-control. No matter what I do, I can't seem to get through. Now it's finally taking its toll. But I can't stop loving you. It seems like you'll never know. But I can't stop loving you.
singer who was your like idol, the singer that you idolized when you were coming up?
Steve Marriott.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, Paul Rogers is a favorite of mine. Stevie Winwood. I think those three guys, and I love Paul McCartney's voice as well. So.
Yeah. Listen to a little bit more of this one.
In my eyes, there is no compromise. Love is blind. I can't get you off my
All right, there you go. I Can't Stop Loving You. The vocals
that
are
was my little tip of the hat to Zeppelin on that. You know, Paul and I were talking about that. You know, let's do a little maybe pre-echo thing, like a Whole Lot of Love thing.
Right.
So that's where that idea came from.
Right, there you go. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. All right, the next song is called "The Rain's About to Fall."
Yes.
A little bit of a Montrose.
Yes.
What is it?
Here's the deal. Jeff
Rock
said
the
to me,
Nation.
said, I wanted to, I love Ronnie Montrose, and I was thinking about writing something, for, a tribute to him, and he said, and I was screwing around with that lick for
Rock the Nation.
Rock the Nation. He said, but I was playing it backwards, see what it sounded like backwards. I said, well, play it for me, let me hear. So he started playing it for me, and I said, well, let's write a song around it. So it's the lick played backwards.
Yeah, I if I could name drop, I interviewed Donovan, the great Donovan singer-songwriter, and that was his tip for beginning songwriters, is to take your favorite song and do the riff backwards.
Backwards, yeah. Yeah, it's always one of those beginning things, yeah, right. But yeah, as soon as Jeff played it, I said, "Yeah, man, let's do it." That's great. And oddly enough, I forgot to put it on the album. What I was going to put on it was a thing to tribute to Ronnie Montrose.
Not necessary. Not necessary. Ronnie Montrose, fantastic guitar player, no slag against, but it's not necessary. Nobody would, because the similarities end with that riff in the song.
Yeah.
All right, here's "The Rain's About to Fall." Rain's about to fall. Even the cowbell.
Yeah, of course.
There you go. That's a good thing. Yeah. It's a pretty damn good album, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I worked hard on it, and I felt really good about it as I was doing it. It's one of those things where you know, if you're feeling good about it, then good things are gonna happen with it. So.
And you know, you can't make an album now with expecting it to sell because albums just don't sell now. But if
no, they don't, and you know, and that's one thing that we talked about as well. I said, you know, Sid, listen, the main thing about this album is I want it to be a good album. You know, that's my main concern. I want it to be a good album. I'm not doing an album because I'm expecting it to sell and hoping that it's going to sell 1 million records. You know, I'm doing an album because I want it to be a good album. That's the best you can hope for at that point. You know what I mean? Albums, no one buys albums anymore. You know, people go to see bands, but and oddly enough, people want to hear them play the old stuff. You know, it's not like when we used to go to shows. You know, we'd go to see the bands play their new stuff off their new album.
Yeah, it's totally
now
changed.
People go to shows and want the bands to play their old stuff off their old albums. You know?
Well, all you fuckers listening right now who are going to go out and steal the album or going to go out and download the album, go to Frank Dimino's website and at least buy a T-shirt or something. All right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna steal the album, buy it. If you're gonna illegally download an artist out, some artists have zillions of dollars, some don't. If you're gonna download an independent artist album, at least go to their show, pay to get in the show, and buy a T-shirt from them to at least support them that
there you
way.
go.
All right, the next song is the ballad called "Even Now."
Yes.
This is a super love song. Who is this? Is it? Who's this song about? The wife?
No, this one's not about the wife, but it could be. I mean, you know, when listen, you know, when I write stuff, it's like a combined effort of everything all around me, the mood that I'm in, and all that stuff. So, you know, there's parts of it, yeah, but I think I try and include I try and make it enough so that it can include everybody. So.
Did you play this song for the wife?
This song, my son plays guitar on. My son plays the finger-picking acoustic guitar all the way through.
Oh yeah, Dylan Dimino. That's right.
Yes, yeah.
So your wife.
And he was very nervous about it because I had said to him, I said, "Listen, do you want to play on the album?" He said, "What?" I said, "Do you want to play on the album?" He said, "Yeah."
How old is he?
Hello?
How old is he?
He's 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is he?
What happened with Dylan is he started taking guitar lessons and he wasn't practicing, and you know, and he was taking them where I was teaching. This was a while ago when he was in high school. I was teaching at a place where there was guitar players, guitar teachers there, piano teachers, drum teachers, and stuff. So I said, if you want to learn, you know, I'll set you up with one of the guys, and you come down and you take lessons. She said, "That's what you want to do." Well, you never practice, so I said, "Listen, if you're not going to practice, I'm not going to pay for lessons for you." I said, "You know, you're learning the lesson the day before you go in there." I said, "I have students who do this to me all the time."
Right.
I said, "You're not cheating anyone but yourself, you know." So he said, "Yeah, okay." So he stopped with guitar, and then he wanted piano. And then he started with piano. He did the same thing with piano. So 2 years passed, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, Dad, do you still have the guitar that you got me for those guitar lessons?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can I play it? Can I?" I said, "It's yours." "Yeah, absolutely." So I went and I got it and gave it to him. And then he started coming into I have a music room in the house. And he started coming into my music room, and he started asking me, "Hey, what are the chords to this song?" And we started working on songs together, you know, figuring out songs. And it was good for me as well, you know. I mean, you know, trying to figure out the chords to different songs that he wanted to learn. He started to learn on his own, going to YouTube and picking up all this stuff. And he'd play the beginning of Stairway to Heaven for me. I'm like, "Wow, that's great."
Yeah, see,
I mean,
that's
he learned it by himself, you know.
That's
so
the problem.
He was learning at his own pace, which I think was easier for him. So.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of guitar teachers and music teachers in general. They don't let you learn what you want to learn. They want you to learn, I don't know, the fundamentals, and which is fine, but the kid's not going to be into it unless he's playing music that he wants to play.
You're absolutely right, yeah.
Now, he's the son of your wife as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you've been married for a long time.
Yeah, I got married 1990. So
about the same year I got married.
26 years, September.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Very
So,
nice.
did
Very
you
nice.
now? Did you tell the wife the song was about her? Because
We
that's-
talked about it. Yeah, a little bit about it.
Because
You
that's
know,
nothing.
It's you know.
There's nothing that a
it's
woman
good,
likes
felt good.
more than to think that the song is about her.
Yeah.
That's that'll get you out of mowing the yard for a couple of weeks. All right, the song even now. Anything else about
Even
this
Now.
song? Okay, here we go. Even now.
Okay.
So, all right, that's your son at the beginning.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
12-string.
No, it's him with there's another guitar on top of it, but he's playing the acoustic one.
Okay.
Is this the one off the Japanese one?
No, this is the one that your manager sent me. This is the American one, I think.
Yeah, okay, because the Japanese one has the 12-string on it.
Yeah. It gets super heavy.
Yeah, yes, this is the one off the album.
The tears rolled down my face, but I could not let it show. This is what you wanted all along. It seems unfair. Maybe this is what we needed. I guess I'll never know. Somewhere deep inside my heart, I finally found love. And now it's much too late. I've waited far too long. I want you back. I'll do anything to hold you in my arms. Silly how I miss the things that you do. Miss the things you do. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Even now, ooh, my heart is aching. Even now, I wonder where you are.
All right, I like that one. That one could be on a Striper album.
You think so? There you go.
Probably could. Yeah, I'm not an authority on Striper, but it sounds like it probably could. All right, I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one. And to me,
Cool.
I think the album gets better as the song it gets closer to the end of the album. So like the second half of the album, I like. So I'm flipping it over now. In side two, I like side two better than side one. Is what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. The next song is called "Tears Will Fall," and this has the great Ricky Medlock on slide guitar.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and this is one of the songs that I did work on this one hard because I wanted it to be right. I wanted the lyric content to be right. I wanted the melody to be right, to work right with the whole thing. And I kind of went through a few different kinds of ideas on this, and finally came to the one that I chose, which was the one that you hear on the album. So.
I think that this could be. This sounds like it could be maybe something from Hell of a Band, that era. This reminds me of early Angel, maybe a little bit. Not super long in prog, but it's got that hard rock. All right, here's Tears Will Fall. Tears Will Fall. Again, vocals fantastic. What reminds me of like something from Hell of a Band is the vocal melodies more than the music. Vocals sound fantastic, and I want to get it. I would like to get it to Ricky Medlock's slide part because I can listen to Ricky Medlock play all day. I love that guy. He's a monster.
And his stuff on this song, it just worked so great for it. You know, I mean, when I heard it, I went, "This is exactly what I want. Exactly what I was thinking of." So,
yeah, that guy is great. All right, get closer to the solo here. Fantastic solo. So
great solo. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Great. The next song is called "Mad as Hell."
Yeah, "Mad as Hell" was the last track that we did, the very last song, and I got Jeff Duncan to play on that with Paul. They were when we were doing when we were about to record the solo, the both of them got together and started going, talking about Eddie Van Halen and Kiss, and they started trading back and forth Eddie Van Halen licks and going back and forth. Finally, I said, "Come on, guys, we get the song done. Forget this shit. Let's start putting the song down."
Now, who wrote the
music? They were having fun going back and forth, trading back Eddie Van Halen licks.
Who wrote the music to this one?
This was Jeff and I.
Okay. This one reminds me a little bit of Deep Purple. And Angel always had. I always thought that Angel had a big Ritchie Blackmore influence on him. I'm assuming that Punky was a big Ritchie Blackmore disciple.
Yeah, and also with Derek Lawrence and Big Jim Sullivan. Obviously Derek did the first couple of Deep Purple albums. So yeah, I mean we were all big Deep Purple fans. And oddly enough, they rehearsed next door to us when we were at the Gower lot. Casablanca had bought one of the sound stages there. It was an old audio dubbing room, a big room that we had that we used to rehearse in. And right next door to us was Pirate Sound, which ended up being I think it was Tasco bought it after a while as well. So it was a big sound stage, and Deep Purple were rehearsing there. First it was Rainbow.
Yeah.
They were rehearsing, and then Deep Purple rehearsed there. There was the Coverdale Glenn Hughes version of Deep Purple. Yeah.
Were you a fan of The Sweet?
Yes, I love The Sweet.
That was another band from the 70s that always reminded me of Deep Purple, too.
Yeah. I love The Sweet. The Sweet were great.
All right, the song is called, where are we? Mad as Hell. Here's
Mad as Hell, yeah.
Mad as Hell. Yeah, Highway Star.
Yeah. My nerves are tightening, I'm up against the wall. She won't be back no more. There's no place left to turn, no place left at all. She's rocked me to the core. Oh, love demolition. Oh, love premonition. Oh, now my condition is I'm mad as hell. Mad as hell. Mad as hell. I'm mad as hell. Wrote me a letter to say what's on her mind. How could she be so bold? She threw the paper, left it still unsigned. How could she be so cold? Oh, by her admission. Oh, there's no contrition. Oh, still my condition is I'm mad as hell.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a shredder.
Yeah, that's a shred. The last, this was like I said, it was the last song we did, and that the last vocal I did was that middle part where it's right at the edge of the screaming part of my vocal.
Yeah. Do you guys play any of these? Do you play any of these live?
Yeah, we did with Vinyl Tattoo. We just did. The last time we played, we did "Rockin' in the City," "Never Again," and "Sweet Sensation."
Okay. And what other kind of stuff do you do?
We do. Let's see. We do a couple of Striper tunes. We also do some Dio stuff. We do We Rock. Which one? Oh, we did Mob Rules, Black Sabbath.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you could. I'm sure you can do Dio, no problem.
Yeah, I love doing Dio.
Yeah.
I mean, we did some dates with Rainbow. Ronnie was a great guy, great singer. Yeah.
What Angel tunes do you do?
What's that? Angel tunes? We do Tower, Rock and Rollers, Don't Leave Me Lonely. What else have we done? Feeling Right was the last one we did.
Nope.
We try and do new ones every once in a while. Try and add some new ones. And
Nobody ever requests Wild and Hot, huh?
No, request Wild and Hot.
I must be the only guy who loves that tune. I don't know why, but I love that tune. That was the anthem for me, man. That was the anthem of my youth.
Good. That's a good thing, man.
Going to the rock show. My parents don't understand. Neither do the
Exactly.
teachers. We live for rock and roll. All right. The next song, Sweet Sensation. My favorite song on the album, Sweet Sensation.
Cool.
Anything else to say about this one?
This is my tribute to Steve Marriott.
Okay. Sweet Sensation.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on a second. Sweet Sensation. Yeah, chorus, classic Angel sound on the music on the chorus.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, next song is called "Tonight's the Night." Eddie
Tonight's
Ojeda on solo.
Fun song, really a fun song to
Boogie
do.
tune.
That's a lot of fun to do. Really enjoyed doing that song.
Tonight's the Night, boogie tune. Here you do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get it to the great Eddie Ojeda's guitar solo.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. All right, here comes Eddie Ojeda. There you go. Tonight.
Stuff.
Yeah, good one.
Great stuff. Yeah.
Good one. All right, the next song is called The Quest.
Oh, The Quest, yes. This was the one that Greg was going to play on.
Okay, so was he gonna? Okay, he was gonna do Justin Avery's part, but he did.
Yes.
He had something else to do, so he didn't play on it. So.
Yeah, like I tell you, he's a very busy guy.
Yeah, busy making the big bucks.
Making the big bucks, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have the hair, that famous hair like he used to have.
Yeah, he chopped all that off, yeah.
I wonder if he would be into growing it back for an Angel reunion. He'd have to lose a little bit of weight, too, probably.
Yeah, he'd be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah. People want to see it. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they want to see it. All right, here's The Quest. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, The Quest. Here you go.
What is real? And break away the chains. Standing at the brim, weary from within. The time has come to choose just what you believe. The choice is yours, it's who you are, not what you perceive. From dreams I awake, to this path I take. Into the night, your soul's taking flight, leaving the past behind. Free as the wind, deep from within, you seek and you will find.
Who's doing the background vocals?
That's me and Oz.
Okay. Well, this would have been Greg's part.
Yeah.
All right, there's The Quest. That's a good one. Does he still have? Do you know if Greg still has that famous huge keyboard setup? It's pretty much exactly like Rick Wakeman's. Not Rick Wakeman. Not Rick Wakeman.
3C?
No, the two. I'm not talking about Rick Wakeman. I'm talking about the guy from
Keith Emerson.
Keith Emerson. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
thing
think
was
he has bits and
iconic.
parts of it, but he has a lot of different equipment now. He has some great stuff. He has some really he has some new stuff that sounds great. He has this one keyboard that it does almost anything, and it sounds great. We were screwing around with it about a month ago with different sounds. He's got some really nice stuff.
Those pictures are iconic with the two arms, like one on each side, and he's like playing. His arms are outstretched, just
Right.
like the guy from what's the guy from Spinal Tap? Viv Savage with the two.
Yeah, right.
And that's what Keith Emerson noted for that too. That's great.
Absolutely,
That's classic '70s keyboards look too. It's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, the last song is called "Stones by the River," and with the great Pat Thrall on guitar. Have you ever heard "Heat in the Street"? That Pat Travers album.
Yeah.
Wow, what an album that is,
Yeah.
man.
Man, and let me tell you something. When Pat sent this, after he had done the solo and sent it over to Paul and I, we both fell on the floor, man. We went, oh my God! It's just like the song it's a different song. It's kind of as we went about it and did it, when Oz had this idea for this song, basically, and he said, I don't know if it's right for what you want to do, and so he played it for me, And I said, let's just work around it. Let's do some things to it. So I worked with him on it, and we changed some stuff. And as I started recording the vocal, it started to feel, Paul had said, I feel like I'm going to church. I feel like I'm in church. So I said, you know what? I know what you're saying. I said, look, maybe we should put some choir stuff on. So we put the choir on there, and it just kind of like opened everything. I went, oh my God, yeah. So I had we have that gospel kind of thing going on. We have the big keyboard going on. And when Pat plays that solo, when that solo comes on, it's like the doors open, man, and the wind starts blowing in, and it's just so refreshing. It's just a great, great solo.
What is he doing now?
Pat?
Yeah.
Pat does a lot of mixing for.
So he doesn't play. He doesn't play guitar for anybody.
Yeah, he still plays.
I'd like to see him back with Pat Travers again.
Yeah, that would be great. I think Glenn is always asking him, like, when are we going to finish that Hughes Thrall thing,
Right, yeah, there you go. All right, here's Stones by the River. I like this one. This is a good album closer to me.
Yeah.
And I was wrong when I said the order was different on the Japanese. I was wrong. It was just a bonus track of Even Now. So
yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
All right, here's Stones by the River. These kind of songs are always the perfect album closer to me.
Yeah, and I think I think the opening when I heard the opening that drum thing in the beginning, never again, that was it. I said that's the opening song, and when we finished this song, that was it. I said you can't put anything after this song.
Yeah.
This is the closing song.
Exactly.
Reminds me of the time love rescued me. No matter where I go, I think about that stone. If it weren't for that, I don't know where I'd be.
A good guitar playing by Alice Fox too.
Yeah,
Good riff.
Yeah. It tries me every day. It can take an honest man down to his knees. But all I have to do is think about that stone, and I know love will come and set me free. There's a stone by the river. When trouble hits me, it puts my mind at ease. I keep stones by the river. Reminds me of the love that rescues me.
So a quality album put out by you, Mr. Frank Dimino. I have
Very much. I very much appreciate that.
Any future plans for new? You got new songs written?
A few, yeah, but I haven't really gone at it full tilt yet. But yeah, some obviously some ideas I got going, working on some stuff, brewing some stuff. I got some a few things I got with that Paul sent me some of his ideas he has. So haven't gone at it full tilt yet. Still working on this album. Like I said, I want to see if I can put some dates together. But soon I'll be working, trying to get the material together for the next one.
Frontier is happy with this, with how it's doing.
Yeah, so far everything I've heard back from them, everything is positive, so that's a nice thing.
Well, that's good. I want to hear Pat Thrall's part here, so I'm going to let it roll for a little bit more.
Oh.
Look just how much I have survived. Am I really that much stronger? Have I finally arrived?
care what they say. They don't make guitar players like that anymore.
And man, it's like I said, man, just the doors open, man. When that solo starts, man, it's just a great solo.
You know,
man.
Nothing against John Five or any of these new guitar players or whatever. The guys from the 70s were the best, man.
It's choice of notes, man. That's it. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's soul. They're playing. They're ripping it out of their ass.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Frank Dimino, thank you so much for coming on the show and spending an hour.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed going track to track.
So what is the website and all that stuff we can reach? I'll put it in the show notes too, but for people who are listening,
it's frankdimino.com. That's the website, and of course you go on the Facebook thing and like my musician page, and also you can always drop me a line on that because I'm always looking at it. I always answer stuff, and of course there's also on the website. I think I'm gonna put some contacts here if you're in town, or and I'm thinking about doing some vocal lessons on Skype. It's kind of dicey. I did a few of them, and it's not great. I'd rather the person be here, but we'll see what happens. I'm not sure yet, but if you're in town and want some vocal lessons, I'm always here, man. I mean, I enjoy doing it because it helps me to remember the stuff that I might have forgotten. So it always gets my thing going. It's always gets my juices going. So it's fun to do.
And what better person to take vocal lessons from than from the great Frank Dimino? I'm telling you, one of the most underrated singers of all time.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. I really do.
All right, Frank, thank you so much. One last question, please.
Yes.
Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley both in their books take credit for discovering Angel. Gene Simmons says, I discovered Angel. Paul Stanley says, I discovered Angel.
They were both there at the same time.
Exactly. There you go. All right. Well, thanks.
It was Gordon Fletcher that discovered us and brought them down. So Gordon Fletcher along with Paul and Gene.
Oh, one more question.
But they're both great guys, and I appreciate it.
I heard Neil Bogart spent a ton of money filming an Angel movie. Is that true or not true?
Yeah, I mean, we filmed stuff in Cleveland. We did a show in Cleveland that was filmed. Candy Silvers, I think it was Phil Silver's daughter at that time. I think that's who it was. She was supposed to play the lead, and they did some stuff with her. I don't know exactly how much they shot, but we also did. When we got back to LA, we also did close-ups in the sound stage and stuff like that. So there's footage out there. I just don't know where it is. We've tried to find it. All of us have tried to find it. I don't know where it is.
The Angel, the mystique of Angel.
Yes, it's everywhere, right?
All right.
It's everywhere, but you can't find it.
Exactly. All right, Frank Dimino, thank you so much for spending an hour.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it.
Have a great Friday.
You too.
Okay,
Thank you. All right.
There you go. The great Frank Dimino from Angel. All right, why don't we close out? I'll put show notes to where you can check out Frank Dimino. Please support the guy. He's an independent artist and a hell of a nice guy. What a nice guy. All right, let me find Angel. I'm going to close out with the song from my youth. Why not? Here is, first of all, let me tell you how you can reach me. Find this show at Rock and Roll Geek or rockandrollgeek.com, www.rockandrollgeek.com. You can find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. You can find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. You can find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek. Don't ask. And send me an email, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. Area code 706-621-ROCK. That's area code 706-621-7625. And thank you, everybody, for the donations. Please keep the donations coming, because without your donations, this show will die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled death, and you will never see it again. Just like you will never see the Angel DVD from the footage from the 70s, because you won't. All right. Here's Wild and Hot from Angel, my favorite Angel song and my favorite Angel album, Sinful. This song, hey, call it what you want, man, but this was the soundtrack of my youth. We'll talk to you next time, friends.
Up in the morning, ready for school, another day of that golden rule. Doing my homework all week long, same old exams, always get them wrong. Teacher
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.